SpaceX's spaceship will be your home away from home as you travel to Mars. Look up, way up. What stands before you is the SpaceX spaceship. It will one day transport you to a new life on Mars, and back if you get homesick for Earth. Starship will be launched into the stratosphere via a reusable rocket booster, which will detach in orbit. We know Starship will feature different configurations based on the mission. For this video, we'll focus on what the crew version will look like. Your journey to Mars will take 7 months, and inside Starship, there is plenty of room for you and your 99 travel companions. The interior of Starship will feature multiple passenger levels, a storage area, a crew deck, and an activities area. Let's take a look.
The overarching design philosophy of Starship puts a premium on reusability, which means ultimately this giant steel beast has to land at some point. But unlike its much leaner SpaceX Falcon cousin, which lands vertically almost as a matter of course nowadays, Starship is so huge it needs to do something altogether more ingenious. To bring Starship most of the way to the ground, flaps are extended from the side of the rocket. The idea is these use Earth's atmosphere to slow the descent. As Musk puts it, you're trying to create drag rather than lift. It's really the opposite of an aircraft. This approach to landing, or at least getting close enough that Starship engines need less fuel for the last leg, requires much less fuel and hence weight than the Falcon method. The Tesla batteries and engines up top operate the actuators that extend the flaps. Clever stuff. Further down the rocket, we come first to the liquid oxygen tank, then to the liquid methane tank. This fuel mixture, unconventional compared to more traditional rocket fuels, was chosen by SpaceX for several reasons. On balance, it's less dense and therefore less weighty than using hydrogen. It burns clean, which is crucial when you're hoping to reuse rocket engines time and again. Also, thanks to the discovery of ice on Mars, future missions can apply a bit of chemical wizardry known as the Sabatier process to generate methox fuel to spur on the homeward journey in situ on the red planet itself. These two giant tanks contain a whopping 1,200 tons of fuel, separated by a near-hemispherical bulkhead known as the Common Dome. This bulkhead is, in itself, a great SpaceX innovation. Conventionally, oxygen and fuel tanks are separated by two hemispherical domes, wasting precious space in the gaps between. Back to that sphere in the nose cone, which is one of two header tanks on board, the other sitting in the Common Dome we just mentioned at the interface of the oxygen and methane tanks. The nose cone header tank holds a separate supply of liquid oxygen, and the Common Dome header tank contains its own stash of liquid methane. These reserves are only brought online during the final stage of landing, once the main fuel supplies in the big tanks have been exhausted. In this way, Starship's thirsty Raptor engines can enjoy fresh, high-pressure methox when they most need it. This pressure is so crucial for their operation, Elon Musk specifically blamed inadequate fuel header tank pressure for the SN8 crash and burn back in December. This smart header tank workaround also protects the essential landing fuel reserves from so-called burn-off, which will be a significant problem on longer missions that are exposed to greater solar radiation. Their compact size also avoids the mechanical headache of what engineers evocatively refer to as sloshing, and the oxygen header tank's position in the nose cone is believed to offer a useful landing counterweight, on current prototypes anyway. The engines themselves are SpaceX's pride and joy Raptors, only 3 for now, optimized for operation at sea level. But later operational versions of Starship will likely have 6 Raptors, with the additional 3 optimized for vacuum conditions. The vacuum Raptors will have a larger nozzle diameter, 2.8 meters, compared to the dinkier 1.3 meter sea level version. As we write, Starship prototype SN10 is on the launch pad, loaded up with design refinements that will hopefully help it land safely after its test flight and move mankind one step closer to Elon Musk's ultimate dream of a future beyond our orbit. History is going to bifurcate along 2 directions, he told a conference earlier in the Starship program. One path is we stay on Earth forever, and then there will be some eventual extinction event. The alternative is to become a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species, which I hope you would agree is the right way to go. It's good to know somebody is on the case at least. What do you think? Is Elon Musk moving too fast to truly absorb the lessons of his Boca Chica adventures? Or is the challenge so urgent he might not even be iterating?
Let's open the hatch and descend to the next level. This is the first-class sleeping area. The cabins are stacked 2 high in groups of 4. There are 5 groups total, which means 20 passengers can fit comfortably on this level. These cabins probably remind you of the rooms in a Japanese capsule hotel, but they are much more expensive. A regular ticket on Starship costs $200,000, but these first-class cabins cost $1 million. Each room comes with its own tiny window. You can count the stars as you drift off to sleep. Let's open the hatch and descend to the next level below. This is the mess hall where you'll get your daily calories. Now you get to experience eating in zero-G. The utensils and trays all connect to the tables via magnets so they won't float away. Your meals will consist of thermostabilized food, like cans of tuna that have been heat processed to destroy deleterious microorganisms and enzymes. You can also munch on intermediate moisture foods, like dried fruit. To prepare you for your new life on Mars, you'll also be fed insects, artificial eggs, and algae. Yummy. These foods will be commonplace on SpaceX colonies on Mars. Automated insect farms and cellular agriculture will play an important role in Mars colonization, as the regolith that makes up the surface of Mars is not suitable for plant growth. Let's open the hatch and head down to the next level. This level contains the bathrooms, showers, and exercise equipment. The elliptical bikes are mounted to the wall rather than the floor to make pedaling easier in zero-G. The showers are tube-like with restraints at your ankles to keep you in place. A pressurized portable bottle of water connects to the ceiling, and the water then flows through a connected hose and shower head. Now you can put on the liquid soap. There are no drains, of course. You'll have to suction up the suds using a collection bin, as wayward water could pose a hazard to the expensive equipment on board. Starship has vacuum toilets that come with a urine collection hose and waste locker. Let's move down to the next level. This is the passenger area. It's made up of 3 levels with 20 seats set up in circular fashion on each level. This is where you'll sleep and spend most of your time during your journey. It may look cramped, but the seats are quite comfortable. There's a partition between each seat for privacy, and the seats have 3 configurations: launch mode, boarding mode, and sleeping mode. Let's move to the last level. The storage area is the lowest level on Starship. That huge door is actually a plank that can lower Mars rover vehicles onto the surface of the red planet. These rovers look quite similar to Cybertrucks. The only things you'll find below this level are 3 sea-level optimized Raptor engines, 3 vacuum optimized Raptor engines, and the super heavy